Hey guys, this is Cam for 15, back at it with another video for you guys, and I'm back with another Bleach Arc Reviews. You thought I was going to review the Hugo Mundo arc today, right? You thought, oh, okay, looking forward to getting his thoughts, you know, for Hugo Mundo because that arc was hype and everything. Well, no, 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 no. You're not going to get that now. You're going to have to get that for the next Bleach video. So you're going to have to wait probably about a week. I am doing these Bleach Arc reviews. I'm technically like pre-recording these videos, and stuff like that. As of now, as of this recording, the review that so far what's been on up on the channel so far, as of this time is my Soul Society Arc Part 2. But whatever. So, this filler arc. You're wondering, why are you talking about this? Because I'm going to talk about this filler arc. I think the only filler arc I'm skipping is probably the past arc because I don't care for that arc. And I already finished Hugo Mundo arc, and I want to see what happens next. Anyways. This arc is the new Captain Shusuke Amagai arc. It is a filler arc. And it pretty much well, like I said, this arc takes place in terms of watching when you watch the anime, indirectly, or like in the butt ton middle of the Hugo Mundo arc after Ichigo defeats Grimjaw. Grimjaw. Um my thoughts on this arc. It's kind of how I feel about life with the Bount arc in some cases, which in a way is well, I guess what I'm saying is it's not bad, but it's not good either. Now if you watch my Bount arc review, I did not like the Bount arc. Now I will say this, this review will somewhat be slightly positive, but even then I'll still be critical of this arc. But I will say this at the end of the day, after watching this arc, I do like this arc a lot more than the Bount arc. Um, I felt, and I'll get in, well, and let me do this. Because what the hell am I gonna say? So if we're comparing the Bount arc stories to this arc story, in my honest opinion, I feel like the Bount arc has more of a story than this arc. Now, pretty much the story behind this arc is this. So one, there's two different storylines, two different storylines that then can interconnect by the time you get to the end. So because of the events of what happened in previous arcs with previous captains, which are Aizen, Tozen, and then Gin Ichimaru, all pretty much doing their own thing. Well, there is a replacement for the squad 3 captain, and that's Shusuke Amagami. And he's a replacement, and pretty much he's kind of a typical captain character where he's morally about teamwork and camaraderie and stuff like that. We see how he pretty much makes some improvements to Squad 3, Squad Unit 3 that Gen didn't even think of to begin with and stuff like that. So, you know, it's the interesting thing that this whole thing, and then he and Kira create or pretty much bond and stuff like that. But the inner dealings with Squad 3 that kind of goes on for this storyline is you have it to where Makoto, pretty much, who is, I guess you can say, the right hand man to Amagami, is doing some shady stuff behind closed doors, and Kira's investigating this at the same time, and things like that. Now, the other storyline revolves around Ichigo and his friends, until they go to the Soul Society. And it's pretty much the whole thing where Ichigo is tasked with being the bodyguard to this princess that came over from the Soul Society to the living world, and her name, as I'm pulling it up, is Ruichio Kasumu Oji. and she pretty much is, well, the heir to running the Kusamoji clan. And the whole storyline there is Ichigo's her bodyguard because there's these assassins that are coming after Ruichio, and they're coming to kill her because the main guy, um, Kumoi, um, wants to kill her so he can be the head cap, or he can be the head leader of the Kusamoji clan. Um, Plots then intertwine and intersect with the fact that Ruichio feels like with everything that's been going on, everybody that gets hurt going up against these assassins and stuff like that. Um, well, she takes things into her own hands. She goes there, but she ends up getting captured. You find out that Makoto actually has some dealings into what's going on with Kamoi, and stuff like that. And then you have a whole rescue arc, which for some odd reason, you have the Soul Society characters turn on Ichigo and Rukia without getting their side of the damn story first, if anything, or not being suspicious of whatever's going on. To the point when everything is finally understanding what's ultimately going on here, you get the plot twist that, oh, Amagami was evil this entire time, and he really wanted revenge on head captain Yamamoto for killing his dad. And you get it, what I would say is a fairly epic fight between him and Ichigo, which is actually probably one of the few things I actually do like in this fucking arc. But then you only get another plot twist to find out that, oh, Amagami's father was captured by Kamoi and was pretty much used by Kamoi's forces to do his bidding, and Yamamoto had to kill his father, which pretty much is just like the freaking damn Shiba storyline that happened with Rukia, um, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's the story. In reality, to be honest, this story, the main story for this arc, this filler arc, I would say is weaker than the Bound arc. Now, yes, the Bound arc dragged on and on and on and on and on, but at least it had a central story. You have to stop the Bounds from trying to pretty much take revenge on the Soul Society for the injustices that was caused amongst them. This arc, well, as for this arc has two different diverging storylines that, although they do connect at the end, it just creates a jumbled mess of a bunch of other crap that it's like, what? Which is an automatic turnoff. If you're trying to get me involved into an arc, why have two divergent storylines? You have one storyline where we're introducing a new captain character who, let's be honest, we barely see half the time. And what I mean by this is how the arc is structured. The arc is structured, I think, with the first couple of episodes about what's going on in the Soul Society Squad number 3. Then you get fairly a large chunk of episodes focused on Ichigo. And then you cut back over, only to then cut back over to Ichigo's side of the story. I feel like for an arc that's titled New Captain Shusuke Amagami arc, or Amagai arc. Hold on a quick second, guys. Okay, back as I was saying, but like I said, you have two different divergent storylines playing out, and it just automatically loses me as the viewer. And like I said, for an arc that's focused on a new character that's going to be replacing the third captaincy, and legitimately the arc is titled after, they rarely show him in this arc. Like, rarely show him. If anything, they cater more to this Ruichio storyline than the Captain Amagami stuff. Which, let's get into the Ruichio stuff. Now, Ruichio as a character, she doesn't bother me, or she's annoying. She's an annoying character, but by the time you get to the back half of the arc, she's not as annoying as maybe some people would probably make her out to be. Now, not to say if you watch this arc and you still felt her being annoying from start to finish, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to hold on a quick second, guys. Sorry again. have to take care of family stuff. But anyways, yes, I didn't find her as annoying. Now, early stage on, she was an annoying character, and I was like, oh god. Here's the annoying anime kid that always getting in the way of the hero's progress and is just flat out stubborn, which she is a stubborn character from beginning to end. It makes no sense why she leaves to go, like, in the middle portion of the arc. She leaves to go back to her clan, but she ends up getting captured. Not surprise, not shocking. Of course she would be captured, and stuff like that. But that's kind of the thing. Now, by the end of the arc, I felt like she learned a life lesson. And I felt like living in the human world definitely helped her outlook on, well, I'm like her outlook on when it comes to then ruling her clan. I think I actually like that. And I actually thought she grew as a character to some extent. As for her two stooges, I guess you can say her two protectors, who names I forgot. I did find it funny how the one guy had pretty much the Pika voice. He didn't speak at all, but then he had, when he fought at the end, he had this freaking Pika voice, which was absolutely hilarious and stuff like that. So that was absolutely hilarious. But at the same time, they weren't really interesting characters. If anything, they were just annoying characters. Um and stuff like that. So that's just my thoughts on the whole thing there. In terms of Ichigo and his friends, Ichigo, the others don't really do as much. Now Ichigo does more, but they don't really do as much. They only stay in the living world, and that's it. After their time is done, that's it. They focus on the Soul Society. They don't go back. Um, and stuff like that. So I will say this. Another so I said a positive of mine was Ruichio. She didn't annoy me as much as I thought she would. She didn't annoy me as much as the freaking kid, um, the little filler mini arc we got with that kid that was dealing with Rangiku. But Ruichio was one positive that I didn't mind. Um, Another positive that I didn't mind was my issue with the Bount arc was every fight they had in the Bound arc, it felt like there was no progression being made at all. And what I meant by that in the Bound arc is we would get a Ichigo versus a Bound character. They fight. Somehow Ichigo loses, they have to retreat. The same thing happens the following episode. That happens for 5 more episodes straight. There was no progress being made to the overarching plot line. Here, it seemed like, I'm guessing, the people who did the filler this time, which is done, I guess, well, I don't know what studio did Bleach. I should have did look that up, but whatever studio looked about on who did the anime for Bleach, they learned their lesson, and that was, hey, let's actually make these fights, let's actually shorten the time a little bit to get to the end goal of this arc. And it felt like when Ichigo and company were fighting these characters, well, guess what? Um, they freaking made progress. Like, legitimately, most of the characters only have to fight these assassin characters. The main assassin characters like one or two times, and Ichigo was fighting only fought the main leader. Block fought the two main leaders. Like, I think the main leader of the assassins, I think, two times. And after that, that was done. They were off to the Soul Society. But everybody else fought these assassins one time, and that was kind of it. So I like the fact that they progressed it, and there was actual progression with each and every fight, even in the Soul Society. Was there some annoyances? Yes, but it progressed the plot, and stuff like that. I also thought the plot smooth. I also thought this arc flowed a lot more smoothly because it was at a quicker pace. Because this arc ranges about like around 22, 23 episodes, when compared to the Bound arc, it was damn near almost 30 episodes long. And again, that's just an estimated guess. I still think it was too long of an arc. I still think this arc could have been done in at least 10 to 13, maybe 15 episodes compared to 20 plus. But it is what it is. It flowed fine, and I thought the pacing was fine for what it was. My last positive was definitely the Ichigo versus Amagai fight. I definitely did like that fight. The fight again, like like with the Bound arc, the one thing I can say positively about the Bound arc was the Karia versus Ichigo fight was dope. This fight was dope as well. With the fact that you have Amagai not only using his Zop um Zop Zop Kento, I can't pronounce the sword's name right, but he was using his typical sword alongside the MacGuffin of this arc, like in the Bound arc, the MacGuffin in that arc for the enemies to use in that arc was their dolls. Well, in this arc, the MacGuffin that the enemies use in this arc are pretty much called Bakoto, which are illegal weapons that are outlawed in the Soul Society, pretty much. But I liked how they had this whole fight and everything, and it was a whole clash of ideals of like, Ichigo telling this guy like, "What's the point in getting revenge?" Like, I understand, your revenge storyline, but what does it have to do with Ruichio and the stuff like that? Which it does make another good point. There's another little plot hole there. I'm like, why would he want to kill Ruichio for this? Like what? To get back at the clan that did all this stuff to his father and everything? I don't know. That was an issue I also had. I'm like, why do you want to kill her though? What did she brought nothing. Um and stuff like that to what the issue was. But there was kind of I did enjoy the fight, and it was actually pretty fairly emotional when it was fairly emotional when the guy found when Amagai found out the truth um about what happened to truly happened to his father. But in a way that was somewhat kind of predictable and stuff like that. But who knows. Negatives, but I just want to get out the way again. Like I said, I already explained, Ryuichio to an extent was annoying. Her stooges were annoying. The villains of this arc, Makoto, Kamui, and later to be, and then obviously plot twist, Amagai. They didn't really do it. At least with Karia, I will say this: Karia was a better main villain because he had a point, he had a reasoning of doing what he did, and it was actually and it was actually believable more than what these guys did. Makoto was just working as just a stooge working for Kamui, and Amagai pretty much, and Kamui was just a walking stooge for Amagai. Nothing really different. Amagai is just doing this for revenge. Makoto is just doing this because he's told to do this, and Kamui, well, he's just doing this because he just wants to be the head of the clan that Ruichio rules over. In other words, all these villains are fairly cliche. And I know I said in my Bound Arc review that Karia was just a typical cliche villain. These villains were even more cliche um, than the Bound Arc and stuff like that, because these characters were just there to be served in a way the served but these characters were just there to be put in a way to where they just get in the way of our heroes, especially Kamui. I felt like Kamui was just a wasted villain, and then when the plot twist happens, like, oh, Amagai was evil this entire time, I'm just like, huh, I didn't see that. I saw that coming a mile away because I figured this guy might have actually been evil and stuff like that. But because I'm like, because it was definitely too believable. Like the fact that Makoto was a bad guy, but he was taken out fairly easily, and then Kamui was the last person standing. I'm like, there's got to be some ulterior motive by somebody and stuff like that. And in a way, he kind of did somewhat of an Eisen like plot line again. In other words, what I would say this: he's a 99-cent version of Eisen. In other words, he wanted to get revenge and stuff like that, and he found a way to get into to be a captain and stuff like that, only to turn so he can get closer to killing head captain Yamamoto. Like I said, he's a freaking 99-cent discounted version of Eisen, just not as badass, um, and not as his plot line is not as convincing. I did not enjoy that. The villains, they were bland and they were weak. Another thing I didn't like in terms of the story was the Soul Society's overreactions to like all this thing, but we later find out that oh no, this was a part of this was a part of head Yamamoto's plan of having Ichigo kind of be the hunted, or be like accused, only to prove to see if he can prove like oh his innocence and stuff like that. And then you have probably the biggest crime of this arc was the fact that Yoriichi ends up showing up, which we barely see her in the show altogether, especially in the main canon stuff. So I hope she makes more appearances in the main canon stuff. Hopefully in this next arc that I'm on, which is the fake Karakura arc that I'm gonna be watching soon, she's in it more. But we have a moment in this arc where Yoriichi pretty much says, "Oh yeah, I knew that Amagai was pretty much evil from the start, and why he did what he did to do what he did." And I'm just like, wait, you knew everything and you didn't tell any of the squad captains. You didn't go to head captain Yamamoto to say this. You didn't say Jack Diddley squad to nobody. What was the point of this arc then? And it goes to show you that this is filler and they need necessary drama to or needless drama to flash things out, and that even kind of goes into the whole Ichigo's being hunted. It was wasted drama. Like the only captains, like I think the only captain was the same captains that were citing of not killing Rukia from the Soul Society arc. It was Captain Utake, pretty much, because Utake was like, "There's nothing wrong about this." Mind you, this is the same Soul Society members that got fooled out about Aizen. You don't think that they would look into a situation more instead of just rush head in and saying, maybe we need to think about this more because something's not adding up. Why would Ichigo do this? He helps us, but then he's kidnapping one of the royal members. Like, you would think they would think about this and actually like analyze it. But nope, let's attack Ichigo, yada yada yada. You know, I'm like, the Soul Society characters are absolutely a bunch of dumbasses, bro. Like they don't take time to stop. They see something going on. Oh, you're freaking guilty. Like ninja, what? Um, and stuff like that. And then when Yoriichi it pretty much explains like, oh, this guy Amagai was evil when it was revealed the plot twist. I'm like, you could have told anybody else, and they would have stopped this guy dead in his tracks. They could have stopped this guy from doing what he needed to do, and then they could have stopped everything, and then none of these situations would have never had to happen. But no, it's filler, so they got to drag things out. And just when I heard that point alone, it just made this arc completely pointless. Like I said, I know I said I like this arc a lot more than the Bound arc. And I know I'm saying, well, just from the story point alone, it makes the entire story pointless because Yoriichi should just spoil the beans for everybody, in front of everybody. But whatever. This was a point when those happened. This made the arc null and void, pointless from the very start. Yoriichi could have did her investigation, told everybody what's going on, and then boom, you stopped the guy by like episode 10 or episode 13 of this arc, and then he's arrested. You can have it to where, guess what? It's a little bit, he tries to rebel against it. But they add forced drama, and then they add this whole stuff so you can build up this thing, this crazy turn. Completely pointless. And that's kind of it. Of my thoughts of the Amagai arc. I guess another negative is the fact that I didn't like the fact that they put this arc smack dab in the middle of the Hukomundo arc, one of the hypest, one of the best arcs in all of Bleach. Like, why would they do that? Now, maybe they just didn't have enough content to adapt from the manga, so the anime needed some filler. But it's really a down killer and a really down sitter. If you're watching this and you just want to watch straight through Bleach, I can only imagine what people thought if they were watching this from week to week. You get this epic moment after Ichigo beats Grimjow. And then all of a sudden, next episode, you see next episode preview, next episode, you get about 20 plus episodes of filler, and then you get back to the main storyline. If it was me watching this week to week, I'd be sick and tired of this shit. I'd be like, when's the filler arc done? Like, this filler arc being put in such a wrong place is terrible. This arc should have been placed after the end of the Hugo. I can't say after the end of the Hugo Mundo arc. This arc should have been placed after the end of, I'm guessing, whenever things settled down after this Aizen storyline, and stuff like that. That's when this arc should have been. And if anything, if I could go back, that's where this arc should be placed. And if you want to go back and watch that, you're more than welcome to. This arc was completely pointless and it serves no purpose. And like I said, maybe they could have did a different storyline. Maybe they could have actually had the storyline be somewhat of a canon storyline in a way of, maybe you have it to where Ichigo does his things of going to Hukamundo. On the side, that's when you introduce this captain and everything. And then you have this storyline being playing out. And maybe, I don't know, you can tie it in a way as this guy is working for Aizen in a way. And the captains at the Soul Society have to stop this guy, while at the same time Ichigo's doing what he's doing. Like Ichigo's doing what he's doing in Hukamundo. Don't know why they couldn't go that approach. And guess what? That would have given more screen time to Amagai, who I didn't feel didn't get enough screen time to flesh out his character and get a basic understanding for this guy. We don't even get no backstory to this guy until really ultimately, the whole thing. The only thing we know is when you first see him, he used to be on the expedition team, and then he got promoted to being a captain. And then you get somewhat of a little backstory about his dad. We don't even get any references about it. He doesn't make any reference about his dad passing away or something like that, and how his dad was a big influence in his life. Makes no sense. He never said, "Oh, my dad was a Soul Reaper." Like, what? So yeah. Overall, I will say this: I do like this arc better than the Bound arc. Slightly better. It's not close. It's not a far enough distance. It's actually closer than you think. But the one thing that actually knocks it out at the park is the fact that I think there were lesser episodes and the story actually progressed compared to the Bound arc that just dragged on and on and on and on and on. This arc may have its criticisms of no story and it feeling pointless, but I'll say this: I'll take a nice short little filler arc over a gigantic arc that just drags on. And this arc does drag on sometimes, but I didn't mind it. It was only 22 episodes. Would I have wanted it shorter? Yes. Compared to the Bound arc, that was about 30, almost 40 episodes. No, that didn't do it for me. And I feel like this arc was better and it flowed better for me. But like I said, it was slightly better than the Bound arc, which means it wasn't close to begin with. So I could have legitimately in this video said, I honestly prefer the Bound arc. But just because the standpoint, this arc was paced a little bit faster than the Bound arc, I was fine with it. And I honestly like it more. And at least in some cases, I guess you can say I like the side character slightly more compared to the companion character in the Bound arc, which obviously it was the one chick Iryu was into and stuff like that. Ruichio, again, she was annoying at the start, but honestly, I didn't find her to be annoying later on. I thought she just did some stubborn, stupid shit. I just didn't find her annoying later, late game. So, yeah. But that's just my thoughts on it. So, next video, I will be getting to one of the hypest arcs in all of Bleach, and that is the Hugo Mundo arc. Anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's episode, or this week's arc review of Bleach. What are your thoughts on the Captain Shusuke Amagami arc? Do you like it more than the Bound arc, or do you like it less than the Bound arc, or do you just not care and you just skipped over it if you were watching the anime? Yeah, if you're watching the anime for the first time, just skip over it. It's a pointless arc that does nothing, and it just kind of deters your hype levels for what happens next in the Hugo Mundo arc. Just skip over it, and if you want to go back to it, you can go back to it later. So that's kind of it. But anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on this week's on this video, as well as it, and then hit the subscribe if you want to get more Bleach content. You do hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell icon so you're up to date with whatever I upload to the channel. And yeah, but other than that, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, guys, see you guys for the next Bleach arc reviews, which, like I said, I'll be talking about Hugo Mundo. Till then, guys, peace.